It's fine. My chosen leadership role is a coach, and as a coach in training and providing an individual in preparation for any sport. An example of somebody within this role is my Old Wigan Athletic football coach, who is in the role. The responsibility of a coach is to set goals, provide feedback, track progress. Also, I believe they are responsible for motivating and encouraging clients and helping them fulfil their potential as players. What's your chosen role?
My chosen role is a team manager. This is someone who organises a team. For example, they will prepare tactics, select the squad for match days, recruit and transfer players, negotiate player contracts and do media interviews. At professional level, the manager is usually appointed by and answerable to the club's board of directors, but at amateur level, the manager may have total responsibility for the running of the club. An example of somebody within the role of a team manager is Ian Evatt. He was the manager of Bolton Wanderers from summer 2020 all the way to January 2025.
Amazing, thanks for that. A skill within this role that is required, I believe, is good communication. For example, when providing instructions during training, giving clear points in a helpful way. This is important as it helps the players to train better and improve their skills. Another skill that I believe this role requires is good organisation. An example of this is Jay, as I previously mentioned to you, was my old football coach, and I think he has good organisation in order to plan coaching sessions and the different segments within the session, which he coached me under for many years. I believe the skill is important for the role as it makes sessions well prepared and ready to deliver to a good quality, provide thorough drills. How about you?
Some skills that I think are important for a football manager are the ability to motivate the players. This skill is important for a football manager because they will show that the manager believes in his players, such as passion and confidence. These skills could be used if a team at half time and the manager would need to motivate the players to get a goal to draw the match or even win. These skills are important for a football manager because it's important to make sure that the players believe in the manager, and if the players start to turn on the manager, then there's a high chance that could lead to the manager getting sacked. Another skill is good communication. This is important because it would allow the manager to get his ideas across easier and clearer, which will lead to better results and possible trophies. A good quality, which bit do we do it up to?
I know I agree with you on that. We'll move on to characteristics if you want. A characteristic that this role requires of a coach on my hand is empathy. For example, just being understanding of a player being upset that they play bad, for example. This characteristic is important for the role because as a coach, teaching young players, for example, my coach Jay needed to be understanding when criticising the players' performances, as they're young and may not take it well, and it may negatively impact them mentally in turn, their performances also. How about you? What's a characteristic for your role, would you say?
A good characteristic for a football manager is excellent leadership and tactical skills. An example of when these are used is when a match goes to extra time and the manager will need to provide extra motivation to keep the players motivated to play for an extra half an hour. This quality is important for a football manager because it is their job to give the players that extra 10%.
Great. Now on to qualities. I believe a quality that a coach requires is high confidence, as they need this to have authority and have the confidence to speak out and set rules, tell players off, etc., etc. An example is a player being disruptive during a training session, and the coach then needs to tell the player to stop and have authority over this to gain control of the session, and this requires high confidence, obviously, to do so. How about you? What's quality?
The most important quality for a football manager is strategic thinking. This is because leaders must make informed, data-driven decisions that align with an organisation's vision.
Great. I think the most important skill for the role of mine is to be a motivator, and motivation in itself, because this helps players want to play and get better more and more due to this. and all of them to get better, more and more, and due to this, all of their performances will improve and stem from the players' motivations in themselves and wanting to play and get better over time. And the most important quality is knowledge of sport and the skills, in my opinion, because it is required for the coach to coach the players, and the coach needs to know the technical skills of the sport in order to show them to the players and help them improve these skills. How about you?
The most important skill is good communication skills. This is because it helps your players know exactly what's expected, and importantly it enables you to build a connection with them. But communication isn't just about what you say, it's also how you say it, your body language and your ability to listen to.
I think that's a good take on that. I would say the most important characteristic on the other hand is being attentive, because it is needed to spot errors and holes in the player's skills and qualities during training and game performances in any sport. And the coach needs to focus on these in order to improve the players and themselves. What's a characteristic for you that you particularly like?
Let's move on to that one.
We can do skills if you want.
Yes,
I'd say the skill of being vocal can affect the characteristic of empowerment, as the coach can use their outspoken, confident vocal skills to make the players feel empowered and feel better during the match or training, resulting in the players being more confident and playing better. Do you have a skill you want to share? Alright, we'll move on to the second part. I think the characteristics of being fair and forgiving can affect the qualities of being positive and empathetic, because a coach who is fair and forgiving towards their players is a coach who creates a positive environment for the players, who feel safe to make sporting mistakes and be forgiven by the coach because they are emotionally empathetic and cater towards the emotional and mental needs of the players. The qualities of knowledge, on the other hand, of sports skills and knowledge of rules and laws affect the skills of organisation, using strategies and tactics well, as the coach will organise training sessions and match plans using their depth of knowledge of sports skills that can be used in the sessions and the sport rules and laws that the sessions need to follow. And following that, the impact of a skill, such as being a good demonstrator, is that it will convey the knowledge, skills and tactics more effectively to the players, especially in teams which consist of visual learners. This would positively impact the role of a coach. Do you have anything else you'd like to add to that little segment?
I think another important skill is leadership. This is because it can directly influence a team's success, improving communication, strategy, implementation and overall morale.
Great. And just to follow that on a little bit, I think the strengths of this impact are that it aids the showcase of skills, as I was previously mentioning, used within the sport, clearly and visually, and also, as previously stated, again, significantly helps players learners who are visual learners. And in my opinion, I don't believe there are too many weaknesses with this skill in relation to sports leadership. However, one weakness may be that it can lose players, in quotation marks, in relation to their concentration due to players taking advantage of the coach's divided attention and use it to chat amongst themselves, for example, or things like this, and the session will not be as useful to the players if this ends up happening. And then the impact of being consistent as a characteristic impacts the coach, as he will affect the players in their progress. The coach will implement consistent progression in the training sessions and the difficulty and variation of these sessions. For example, in the drill, the strengths of this impact is that each player will be treated equally if the coach is consistent in his treatment of the players. This will have a positive impact on the social aspect of the team and the players, and also the mental and emotional state of these players. And another potential weakness of this characteristic for a coach is that the sessions can become similar